welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Stephanie Escobar and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for tuning back into my channel that has not been updated in forever. I know. I have to go and get my life together really quick. It only took a year, but that's okay. I'm here now and that's all that matters. Today I will show you guys the way that I have been doing my foundation for a while now, and I just wanted to update you guys and share a couple tips and tricks on how I apply my personal foundation and what works best for me, including some skincare prep too. If you guys like this video, just like it. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to be around for my next video. I will try my best to try and commit to this. I do work a full-time job. I freelance. I am in school now, which is why it took me a while to kind of get this video up, because I was trying to adapt to my new schedule and get around to making time for it. And I wanted to see obviously what kind of classes I was going to have this semester and how much time they were going to be taking, so that way I can see how my schedule was going to plan out. But crossing fingers, I hope that I can make this work. So I recorded this video for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy. And I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys get started, because I'm not a huge fan of long intros either. So we'll see you guys in a second. Let's go ahead and get started, you guys. So I did already do my skincare routine that I normally do for skin prep before my foundation, just because I normally that is definitely a very important step when it comes to your foundation routine. It's gonna either make or break your foundation, so you gotta make sure that you're skin prepping correctly. I have already done my moisturizer, which whenever I do makeup, I use the Aveeno Positively Radiant Daily Moisturizer with sunscreen, just because obviously I want to protect my skin. Even though you're not going to be outside, sunscreen is very, very important. So I use that one, and I feel like this one kind of smooths out my skin a little bit better, and it feels really, really soft. I do go in with a acne treatment afterwards, and a lot of people are very concerned when it comes to putting on acne treatments during the day. You just gotta make sure that you're really, really careful about which acne treatment you're actually putting on. I am now completely used to the benzoyl peroxide going on before my foundation. It is a protective layer, and I feel like it helps my skin not get clogged up as quick, or just make me break out. I feel like it just prevents acne from appearing on my skin, which it helps a lot. This one particularly is the one from Target. It's the maximum strength 10% benzoyl peroxide gel. Mario put me on, thank God. He is amazing for that. And I think it's only like $5, and it's 10%. I have another acne treatment from Kate Somerville, which is a lot more expensive. And it only has, I think, 5% benzoyl peroxide, I believe. But that one definitely gets the job done. So if you're interested in trying it out, I will give you guys a heads up. It is very, very harsh on certain skin, especially if you're sensitive. For the longest time, I had really, really bad allergic reactions to this, but it worked so well at, like, you know, taking away the acne and stuff like that. So I figured out a way on how to make my skin tolerable to it, or make my skin tolerate it, I guess. And I use my Maracuja oil by Tarte. Obviously, if you've been following me for a really long time in social media, you know I love and rave about this specific oil, just because there's a lot of different skincare benefits inside of it. That'll be a whole different video going into skincare, the ingredients. I will definitely love to inform you guys. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely leave that in the comments box too. But this particular oil is a very lightweight oil. All skin can use it, all ages. It is very, very natural. I do believe it's a vegan, if I'm not mistaken. So it's really, really great. It has your vitamin C inside of it, which is going to be your brightening, lightening, and tightening ingredient. We want to think BLT. That's what I was taught at work whenever I was trained, and it really stuck to me. So I feel like that's a really great way on how to memorize like what vitamin C does for you. Has fatty acids, so it's going to help replenish your skin on any nourishment it might be lacking. And it also obviously comes with the Maracuja oil, which is a very lightweight oil. It's not super overwhelmingly greasy, so I like using it for makeup purposes. At nighttime, I'll use a thicker oil. But this one I love using, and I have already put it into my skin. My skin feels very soft and nourished. I obviously have really bad discoloration. My skin is super, super delicate and sensitive. It's actually very aggravating to live with, but I've made it work. I kind of got the hang of how to take care of it, and these are the products that work for me. I break out very easily. My pores get clogged very, very easily. I can't use anything with fragrance. Again, I'm very, very sensitive. And after I had my son, my skin just changed completely. Like my hormones were completely unbalanced, and again, that's a whole different situation, which I will definitely love to share with you guys about my my postpartum and going through my first child, why I haven't had another one. It's just a lot of, it was a very traumatic experience for me, let's just say that. So I'll save that story for a whole different video for sure, but I would love to share with you guys because I feel like a lot of, you know, new moms or people that are thinking of having children would definitely feel really good about that. So I'll make that a video later. But let's go ahead and get started into my makeup routine. I have obviously already done my eyebrows. I use the Morphe brow cream, which is bomb, by the way. Thanks to Izzy for hooking me up. I use the shade Almond because in the light my hair looks a lot more, I would say like an auburn shade for sure, but right now just because my room is so dark, you can hardly see it. I do start by obviously applying my layer of foundation. So I like to mix the Cover FX Power Play foundation. This is a very matte foundation, which helps a lot with my oily T-zone. If I haven't already mentioned it, I have combination skin. I have oily T-zone here and super, super dehydrated out here. It's like no in between. It's like, look sis, you're gonna live the best of both worlds. And this foundation works really well for me. I feel like it kind of adapts to where it's laying on my skin. It helps to mattify my oily T-zone without super, super dehydrating it, but it also helps to stay a really long time on my outer perimeter of the face, which is where I'm a little bit drier, but obviously our little sis here helps us out a lot. So I'm gonna start, I always shake up my foundations. This one is gonna be a little bit darker. I feel like it's gonna look really intense whenever I apply it on, but I always lighten it with a pump of the Natural Radiant by NARS. And I've never been the type to want to mix my foundations just because it gets more expensive. But I just mix it out of convenience because I have them. But if you're like new into makeup, you're like, look girl, I'm not gonna go out and buy 2 different foundations just to mix it. That's not what I'm telling you guys to do. It's just what I do. So I kind of mix it. Yeah, the G50 is definitely way too dark. I normally do G40, but I wanted my skin to have some color. And you guys are definitely gonna see a difference when it comes to my skin because I'm obviously more yellow here, but I'm very red in the face. And it looks like I'm applying a lot. 9 times out of 10, I am applying a lot. I love a full coverage. And I'm taking my beauty blender to blend this out. I wouldn't suggest a beauty blender with this particular foundation, the Power Play foundation. It's such a lightweight formula that I would highly recommend doing a brush, but because I mix it with a creamier substance, which is the Natural Radiant by NARS, I feel like it's okay. And again, as you can tell, this is a very, very light layer. My discoloration is still peeking through. So trust me when I tell you the full coverage is coming soon. So this is just to kind of, I guess, neutralize a little bit before. So now that we're done with one layer, I'm gonna go in the second one with my favorite brush from Sephora collection. I'm normally not the person to tell you guys to use brushes just because I've never found a brush that doesn't streak up my foundation after a couple uses, except for this one. This one works really, really great. It's a number 88 slanted buffing brush from Sephora collection. It's part of the Pro collection. This is probably the best foundation brush I've ever used. Real Techniques just have one that's kind of similar to it. And forgive me for showing you guys dirty brushes if that makes you cringe in any way. Sorry, sis. But I will say it's obviously a lot longer. Ooh, this thing is disgusting. We're just gonna put that over there. That's kind of embarrassing. But you guys got the point. So now, see how much more coverage it packs on? It just allows me a lot more. So my foundation color, like, it always seems to irritate the crap out of me because I can never find my true undertone. I've tried warmer colors, which is more yellow, and then I get this. I like orange here and super neutral here. But if I go neutral, I always end up looking super gray. And then my body looks super yellow, like almost olive yellow. So it's super annoying. So what I normally tend to do, see, because in this mirror it looks not that bad. I should have worn a turtleneck so that way it wouldn't matter what color I was using. And I've definitely learned within the years that obviously your bronzer and your blush are going to come and play a specific role when it comes to the undertone. So I feel like that always balances me out. And what I'll do is I'll get a really warm shade around my face, and then my concealer will match my chest tone. And that helps a lot of people of color to bring some balancing, you know, into their face. After I've done my foundation, although it's not the ideal coverage that I want, I know that I'm going to be able to get the coverage with my concealer, which we're still staying very loyal to Miss Shape Tape over here. I use the shade Light Neutral. So that's when I go neutral with my concealer. So that way it matches my chest tone, because I know I'm not super yellow. Like, I don't produce a lot of yellow in my skin. I did start to cream contour. I have joined that family. It is the easiest thing to do, and I do still use a little bit of a powder bronzer that'll obviously be shared here in a little bit. But it's because I struggled to always find a contour stick that wasn't going to break me out, because it was majority right here, which is where I tend to break out a lot more. And you guys know Wet n Wild is a really great brand that I use on a daily basis, because it's just a really safe product for me to go to. And they have a contour stick, you guys. I am so excited. I've ran through one of these already. That's how I was like, okay, I definitely have to make this into my foundation routine. But this is the makeup stick contour from Wet n Wild, one of the best cream contour sticks I've ever used. And I've used Fenty's Matchstick, which is great, also broke me out. This one has not. It has yet to cause that. So I normally contour with this. And I like a very defined face. You're gonna see by the end of this video, it's like, oh sis, you got a new face. Yes, I did. That's the whole point of this. And then again, I had a lot to do before I recorded this, so I didn't prepare well, but the brush that I'm using is from Miss A. It is the F13, and this brush right here is the best thing to blend out contour with, because I feel like it just does it really well. And I bring it up and forward because what I'm trying to do is contour, define, and still carve out and complement my cheekbone. So I'm pressing it, and I'm not moving it lower than where I need it. I'm bringing it upwards to kind of round out my cheekbone. And it blends so smoothly. It doesn't disrupt the layer of foundation I've applied. It's just a really great contour stick. And it makes it even better that it's super cheap. I think it's like maybe $5 to $6, maybe. I don't know, don't quote me. Just go to Walgreens and buy it. But it's very cheap compared to like Sephora products. If you guys don't know already, I do work at Sephora full time. That's why it's kind of hard to commit to doing this. Just because this is the full-time job. YouTube is the full-time job. But I told myself I will try my best. Just because I've been in this industry for a really long time. And I feel like a lot of knowledge needs to be spread. Like, what's the point of having so much knowledge if you can't share with everybody else? Wow, I look a hot mess. But we're gonna clean it up. This is why I do contouring before I do concealer, because I like to place the contour where I need it, and then Miss Shape Tape comes in and saves the day. And if you're not into a full coverage concealer look, you might want to exit right now. Exit out of the video, because if you're not a full coverage queen, you're probably gonna be like, oh, she uses so much makeup. I do. I love makeup. It's just a preference. And then I'm taking my beauty blender and then blending it out, obviously, as you can tell. You're like, wow, sis, this is way too light for you. You'll see. Everything's gonna come together. You're gonna see. But yeah, I try my best to update as often as possible on social media too, but that is so time consuming. Like, I tried my best to like advertise it perfectly, and like, because obviously that's where I find a lot of my clients. I do also freelance. I freelance, and then I started doing photography, just because I like to do photography. Like, I love capturing moments, and if I don't have anybody to capture mine, I might as well be, you know, capturing somebody else's. Anyways. So yeah, and then I started school. So I didn't want to start as soon as January started because school started January 14th. And I wanted to get a sense of how my classes were going to be. I'm taking 3 classes right now. And some of the classes are allowing me to have a little bit more extra time, which is great. So that way I can kind of commit a little bit more to the YouTube. El YouTube. And then I clean up under here. See how everything's coming together? Okay. It's all a process here. And again, this is the routine that I do when I'm going to work. This is the routine that I can depend on to stay on through a 8-hour shift. And it works perfectly fine for me without getting oily. I don't have time to blot out work. As much as you guys think like, oh, you're standing around. No. At Sephora, like, you're getting client back to 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 back, asking you for everything, which I love. I love helping women figure out what works best for them. And that's where my product knowledge comes in place. Just a little bit more. You can never have too much concealer. Actually, you can, so don't quote me on that. But at work, I don't have time to be blotting, so this is the foundation routine that works really, really well for me. And my skin type, everybody's different, but this is what works for me. And now whatever you do to the bottom, you're gonna do to the top. Plus, you're prepping for your eyeshadow if you decide to use eyeshadow. I probably won't do eyeshadow today though, because I don't know. I feel prettier without eyeshadow. Okay, so there's that. And in some places of my skin, you can still see some of the discoloration, which I'm okay with. I'm content with my skin, my freckles. I'm cool with it. Now I'm going to set my concealer, and we're going to use our OG favorite, everybody's favorite. Well, not everybody's because it has a lot of fragrance, but I'm obsessed with Laura Mercier and Chanel loose powder, but like I said, we're in school and we're on a budget. And the Coty Airspun does it really well for me. I will say if you use too much of this, it neutralizes your foundation way too much, which for me, it kind of works out really well. And I guess I sort of bake because I let it sit for a little bit. And then I dust it off. Yeah, it says we're baking. This is what you bake with. Normally on my drier days, I don't like to bake. I just like to set my face. And right now what I'm doing is just pressing it off, but with the beauty blender. So I'm still reinforcing that liquid into my skin to last a little bit longer without disrupting the layer of foundation. So see how everything's just coming together so well? It's just, okay, I know what I'm doing now. I look back at some foundation videos that I had before I started recording. That was the biggest mistake I've ever made. I've never regretted something so much. But I'm sure we can all agree that finding your foundation is probably one of the hardest things to do. Because there's so many of them and the formulas are always so different. They dry down differently. they don't last as long. You love the color, but it looks cakey. It's just a lot of different things that come in play. So now that we've set our skin, I am a powder fiend. Like, I love putting powder on my face because I just feel so much more secure when it comes to putting on powder after my foundation. Gosh. I have the charger plugged into my phone and it's like weighing it down on that side, and I'm sorry if it's going to annoy you guys, but you guys will live, I promise. So for the face powder that I love, I've been using this for such a long time already. I love this powder. It is a full coverage powder. It is cheap. It does not have flashback. It smooths out my skin. It works with all skin type. It's just one of the best powders I've ever used, and that's the LA Girl Pro Face High Definition Matte Powder. Looks like this. I've gone through maybe 7 different ones already. I will say the way that I apply it probably runs it through a lot faster, but I take a fluffy brush, rub it in, and press it into my skin. And this is, again, best powder ever. And again, the fact that it's cheap makes it that much better. So for all my mommies or college students on a budget, you're welcome. And I normally buy it at my local beauty supply store, but Amazon can hook you up, sis. And I press this on everywhere, even on my eyebrows, because I feel like it lightens them up. I don't like super dark eyebrows. I feel like I like older with dark eyebrows, or meaner. I already have a resting bitch face. I don't want to cuss on these videos just because I know a lot of little sweethearts are watching me and I don't want to be a bad example. So I'm going to refrain from doing that. Now for my bronzer, I use 2 different bronzers. I use a contouring powder and then a bronzer, and they're all from Tarte too. You guys already have seen this, I'm sure. Either if you've been very loyal to me, you know that these 2 powders are my go-to. Park Avenue Princess, the waterproof bronzer, but it's not the matte. It's the one that has a little bit of shimmer, like it has gold reflex in it, and I love this on all skin types, especially if you have really deep yellow undertones, because the gold reflex that's inside of it, when you're out in the sun, it doesn't look muddy. It doesn't look blotchy or anything like that. It just looks really smooth, and it just has like this really iridescent sheen to it. It's just really pretty. And I use a little bit more of a precise brush for that, and I just go over my cream contour. And it just warms up my skin really nicely. And I bring it up to where I'm going to be placing my blush, because I want them to kind of gradiently blend into each other. And then I take it towards my forehead. I don't have a big forehead, but I just like the way that it looks. And I bring it kind of like to like the arch of my brow, just because it brings everything together really nicely. And occasionally on a super bloated day, I'll take it down here. And right now it looks pretty prominent, like it looks really bold right here. But I am going to blend everything in here in a little bit. So it's always a good trick to remember how to fix something than to get it right the first time, just because we're not going to look perfect every time. And for blush, I'm a huge fan of the California blush from Benefit, because it also has a little bit of that gold sheen to it. So it blends really nicely into the bronzer. And it just looks really pretty. Like, I feel like because my powder foundation and powder liquid foundation are so matte, that the powders, blush and bronzer just bring some, I guess, radiance back into my skin. I don't know, I do a lot. But when you get it down, it's nothing. So, for the infamous nose contour, that's where the other powder comes in play. I am obsessed with this powder. It's literally the perfect contouring powder. And where I want to define, I use this one. As you can obviously tell, this is one of my favorite palettes. It was recently on a discount from Tarte. Hopefully they don't discontinue it, but they put this on sale for like I think $10 so one time at Sephora, so I bought like 3 because this is, I mean, I've had this for maybe about a year and a half already, so I finally started using this one. Obviously I went through my highlighter a lot faster than I do the contour just because I only use the contouring bronzer for my nose area. For my nose, I use a smaller defining brush, something that's going to allow me to add some precision. And I have bad days and I have good days when it comes to my contouring on my nose. But obviously make sure you're looking straight ahead. And then I just take it from the beginning of my brow to the beginning part of my nostril, like right here. And obviously it looks super, super bold right now, but a really neat trick I will show you guys to blend it out. I think that's probably the best way to show people how to do makeup is how to fix their mistakes, because 9 times out of 10 that is part of the process of learning how to do makeup, and even your own too. So once I've defined it, I'll turn to the side. See how this looks super, super muddy? Then I blend it down. And soften that up. And then I'm not gonna lie, my usual routine will consist of me applying powder under my eyes with a fluffier brush. This one's from Morphe. It's part of their face set that they sell at Ulta. But I normally only do that when I do makeup or eyeshadow. But I'll do it today just to show you guys what I'm talking about. And then I clean up right beside my nose contour. Press it one more time under my eye. And I do this before highlighting because I wanted to brighten up my under eye a little bit more precisely, I guess, if that's the right word to say. So see, I just like create some more brightening look. And this has a lot of fragrance. I'm surprised this doesn't break me out because it's a lot in here. And then whatever's left over, I'll use it to blend out that really, really defined line. And I have to close my eyes because sometimes I get to my eyes and it irritates my eyes. So then it blends, it kind of like the neutral undertone that this powder provides for your makeup. It softens up the orange bronzy redness that this bronzer has to make it look more like a shadowed contour. So looky there. Oh my god, you got a cute little slim nose. I'm Mexican, so big noses run in Mexican families, and I got one. Moving on to everybody's favorite part, highlighting. Again, makeup is a learning process. You have to figure out what works best for you, what complements you best, and you specifically, your features, your skin type, your skin tone, everything. I used to go really, really bright with my highlight, and I don't regret it because it looks, I mean, it's whatever, but I'm not gonna lie, I still do go really bright. I go really bright with my highlight just because, look, I want people to see me from miles away. When I go a little bit more natural, I get something that's a little closer to my skin tone, and for that I use obviously the Champagne Pop from Becca. I have the mini size because the full size is in my kit, but I am obsessed with these 2 highlighters. So there's one that has more cooler undertones, and then there's one that has a little bit more gold undertones. I normally mix both. I go in with the gold one before, like, to highlight my cheekbone area to have it blend just a tad bit more than what, you know, the cooler tone one will. And I'll use a smaller brush from Real Techniques. If I haven't been mentioning the brushes, I am so sorry. You kind of get the idea though once you see it. So see how that just like brightens it up completely? And I always start at the apples of my cheek because when I smile, I want it to kind of create that really, really dewy look right there. I take it into the temples of my cheeks. My temples here, right? This is temple, whatever. The C form of the profile of the face. There you go. And because it has that gold undertone, it's going to blend into the gold glitter or iridescent look that the blush and the bronzer provide for my skin. So it just kind of blends everything together. And because this looks still so prominent, again, we're not done. I'm going to blend it in a little bit later. We're not done. We're not done. Do this side. And on camera, it's looking really good from my point of view, but I've played back some of my videos and you can see a lot of my texture, which I'm okay with. I've learned to love my texture because it's just gonna be there. I don't care anymore. And then I take it down the bridge of my nose. And then the sides. See how it just like blended a lot more, those side lines right there? If that's a thing, I don't know. Now I will blend my highlight into my blush because I feel like whenever I look in other lighting, it looks very precise right there and I don't like that. So I'll blend whatever's left over on my brush into it. And then I always take whatever's left over on my sponge, or occasionally if I want it really, really defined contour, I'll pick up a little bit more of the powder with my sponge and clean up my contour under. Wow. I don't let it sit for too long. I immediately go in and clean it up. Just like that. And then take whatever is left over on the brush or my fluffy brush and then I blend it all in. So while I'm picking up that loose powder, it's blending into that contour so it doesn't look so muddy. So it just kind of tones it down a little bit more. So there's a reason why I do the things I do. And then I blend everything down. And I still look very warm in the face, but I promise you guys in person this looks so much better. It's just because these lights around my mirror are very yellow. Now I am going to show you guys, well, I'm gonna go do my lashes really quick. It's gonna be a really dramatic difference. This is what I do. I will show you guys the lashes before I put them on because I feel like that always helps people. These are my favorite lashes. I will use these at all times. I've tried changing the style up and it just doesn't complement my eyes the way I want it to. So this is the only one that does it for me. These are the Mist lashes. I'm sure you guys have seen it, especially if you guys are from the DFW or you follow anybody from the DFW, they've probably mentioned it. But the 314s are my favorite. These are everything. I own like maybe 10 of these at a time. And one pair I will make last for maybe about 2 weeks. I'm not gonna lie. Just because they're so perfectly volumized that I don't need to put on a lot of mascara. And I always do my mascara first, which I always go between the same OG favorites of mine, and they're the Maybelline Lash Sensational in waterproof. I always have to do waterproof because my fake ones weigh my lashes down and they won't hold curl unless I do waterproof. And then the CoverGirl Lash Blast Volume. This is an OG too, and I love it. And I normally don't have to trim my lashes just because my eye's pretty big enough. No, I'm lying. I do trim one of them. So look at that. Oh my god. Like Instagram baddie. Basic. Instagram baddie. Basic. And some days I like to feel like either one, you know? I'll be right back. Now that I am a new woman with lashes on, I will take some more brightening powder under my eye. And for that, I do use the MAC Studio Fix powder under my eye in the shade NC20 to brighten up a little bit more, just because this isn't bright enough for me. I like to live a bright life. So I take it with the Precise Point Brush from Sigma. Take it right along the side of the contour and press it under my eye. And this will be a little bit more blended here in a second, so bear with me, ladies, bear with me, okay? And at this point, you're probably like, girl, you do a lot. It's just what I do best, a lot. You don't like it? well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't like a lot of things, but choose not to speak up on them. And then I'll take it on my lid just to smooth out any concealer that might be there. And then I'll take the fluffier brush that I applied my powder foundation with and blend it all in. And voila! We have a face, you guys. Done. This is it. Oh, just kidding. We're not done. Because we have used a lot of powders, I have to bring some type of hydration back into my skin. So of course, as you can tell, this is a fave. It is a Mario Badescu facial spray. Everybody's already seen it. You guys are probably like, wow, this is another get ready with me with all the same products I've been seeing everybody use. It is indeed. But what can you do? They just work great. And I do spray this everywhere. Wow. Just a little bit. I like to drench my face in it because it feels really, really good. You guys, so there you guys have it. This is my foundation routine. Currently, I'm sure as the months go by, new products will come out and I'll probably end up changing it, and I will update that whenever I do. But so far, this is what works for me for really long shifts at work. I do work today, so this is what I can depend on a daily basis, and it's definitely a go-to. Like, I love doing nude gloss, heavier contour, softer brows, I guess, if you can call this softer brows. I don't know, to each their own. And I always do really, really big lashes just because I feel like that's just what complements me best at this point in life and what I feel more comfortable in. So this is what I normally do. I am not going to end this video in a way that I promise you guys a new video, but I will see you guys when I see you, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one at least. If you guys did, please like and subscribe if you want to be around for the next one. And I gotta go because my mommy doobies are calling me and my child is running out of patience without me. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.